Alrighty, piggies, I see all of you lined up at the hog trough, but fear not, your old pal Pleb is bringing you a fresh bucket of slop tent, and today's slop comes from none other than IGN, the most critically acclaimed games journalist website. Should the God of War Trilogy remake bring back the naughty minigames? The minigames are a relic of their time, but they did serve a surprisingly important purpose in Kratos' story. That's how I imagine Tim Brinkoff sounding. Like, how Jester Max do you have to be to write something so stupid? Now, let's go ahead and just read this, and once again, regard warning, you will lose brain cells. So, you've been warned. Will this be a graphical facelift like Bluepoint's Demon Souls, or are we revisiting Greece with the Norse duology's controlled and overhauled game design? If the latter, will Kratos have a companion accompanying him to Pandora's temple on the Isle of Fates? Will there be a blacksmith NPC popping up in unexpected places to provide armor and weapon upgrades? Will we be able to fly and jump like the original games? And what about those SIGs minigames? The last one almost sounds like a joke, but fans who've brought them up seem to be deadly serious. You better not edit out Aphrodite, one of the top comments on the announcement video posted by the official PlayStation YouTube channel warns, referring to the particularly graphic minigame from God of War 3. Do not censor the original material, reads one of the, as at the time of writing this article, 256 replies that comment, don't ruin it. I love how I've just started reading this article and I already know I'm dealing with a moron. The purpose of a remake is to upgrade the graphics, right? Make it 1080p, make it 4K. See what I'm saying? Let me pause during cutscenes without losing the entirety of the cutscene. Maybe add a better saving feature. Let me move the camera a bit better. And that is it. That is all you have to do. I don't understand why game companies and games journalists have such a hard time understanding that the only thing I want you to do when you make a remake or a remaster is the bare minimum. And I don't understand how companies still mess it up every single time. We've seen it with the Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 remaster. With the remaster, they've completely, it's worse than the original in so many ways. And all you have to do is copy someone else's homework. It is literally that easy. But, you know, what's to be expected? The minigames help convey Kratos' downward spiral into sadism and nihilism. At the same time, and please hear me out, I do think there's a place for them in the Greek games, at least in concept. More than a crude joke, I always found that they contributed to the saga's story and themes. In the first God of War, the naughty minigame, like that part where you burn the caged soldier to progress through Pandora's temple, or condemn the ship captain to his death after taking his key, adds a welcome sense of moral ambiguity. There is no moral ambiguity. The setting the guy ablaze in the cage is representing what Pandora did by opening the box, dooming humanity, right? If that's how you want to look at it. There is no moral ambiguity. It's symbolism of the Greek tales. You know, I hate to break it to you. It demonstrates that Kratos is not a conventional hero and suggests there's more to his quest to kill Ares than the desire to avenge his family. Yeah, he's going after a Geno rampage on all the Greek gods. That's his quest. If visions of his dear dead wife haunt him so, how could he lie with another woman? He is a weapon. That is why. He is literally a weapon for the gods. That is his purpose. That is why. And he is a weapon, and he realizes he's essentially been betrayed. And he turns all that singular hatred towards them, and he goes after them. It's ridiculous. At least that's what I went through my head when I encountered the minigame for the first time. The minigame with Aphrodite also veers into garnish overindulgence, but to a slightly different effect. Instead of making you feel like a bully, you just feel like an idiot. I certainly did when playing with a childhood friend. We just sat next to each other in awkward silence, going through the motions to get all the red orbs while keeping an ear out for my mom, walking up and down the hallway. Very manly indeed. So you played a mature video game while looking out for your mom. Oh my god, whoa. It's almost like the game wasn't made for children. Like, what are we doing here? When I first got GTA San Andreas, I had to mute my game, and I was looking. Yeah, as I'm playing, I'm looking, make sure I ain't getting caught with this copy. Yes, that's what happens when you're playing a mature video game, and your parents didn't want that. Like, seriously, is this even a real person, or did you ask Grok to cook up the dumbest take on a video game you could possibly have and just posted it? Some may think that the Norse games walked back on the Greece saga's abundance of segs and nudity because the gaming industry decided to chase inclusivity. That's exactly why. That's why, oh goodness, that one character was changed black. I can't remember her name. Was it Agrabah? Something like that. That's why her ethnicity was changed. So yes, it was for inclusivity. And Balrog and his team tried to stay on the good side of the culture that considered the minigames offensive and misogynistic. This is not the case. It absolutely was the case. First and foremost, the Norse saga walked back on these things because they play no part in the leg of Kratos' story. But who wrote the story? Once again, his wife has died, but this time he channels his grief into something more constructive. Rather than destroying the world, he tries to be a better parent to his son. Well, his wife died to sickness. I played both of the games. His wife died to sickness. This wasn't like some awful thing that he was essentially unknowingly did it himself and channeling his rage to other people. So yeah, completely different story here. For the remakes to succeed, they have to communicate as effectively, if not more effectively, than the original trilogy. No, they do not. They absolutely do not. They just have to be a one-to-one remake of the original story with better graphics. Let me have better saves, better checkpoints. Let me pause for cutscenes. That is it. Change up the camera controls, maybe. That is all you have to do. Why do people have to overthink everything in the gaming industry? How Kratos ends up at the personal low point from which the Norse games set off. It's very... Are you stupid? Naturally, he's at a low point. He literally wiped off his entire home. Completely gone. Everyone he has known or has ever known was gone at that point. You don't have to show how he ends up there because it's obvious how he got there. If the SEG's minigames are in any way included, that is the purpose they should serve. If they're removed on account of being tasteless, not unthinkable, as that was kind of their point, no matter. They were there because this is a testosterone-filled game where you hack and slash, you battle the gods, you win, and at the end of the day, you get the pretty lady. Once again, it is not that hard to see. Why are we overthinking this? And secondly, untasteful, unthinkable. Buddy, you just pressed a button and it showed furniture moving around. Like, what? If you see two people holding hands, do you spurg out of your mind? Surely Santa Monica Studio can think of other, more respectful ways to convey Kratos' downward spiral, and for the players to go down that spiral along with him. I hate this so much. I hate what Sony movie games has done to the gaming community. The God of War trilogy was fun. That's all it was. You attack an insurmountable challenge. You topple it over. You get the pretty lady. That's all the game was. And it was awesome. I remember playing it on the PlayStation 2. Only played one game. I can't remember exactly which one. I think it was the second one, maybe third. I really don't remember. It was so long ago. I ended up trading it because my my parents were none too happy about me playing the game, so I had to trade it for something else. But it's not that hard. And I don't understand why you have to have some moral ambiguity, moral compass. Why can't I just play a game and have fun? This is ridiculous. Now, this is the question they ask. Should the God of War Trilogy remake include the naughty minigames? Yes, keep them exactly as they were. Answer. What do you know? 82.6% of people agree with me. Yes, but change them to be more respectful. 6.9%. No, Kratos lust can be explored in other ways. 6.4%. No, the Segs should not be a part of Kratos' story. 3%. Others, let us know in the comments. Anybody who voted for anything but yes, keep them exactly as they were, are the reasons why your games suck. This is the modern audience, right here. People who don't play video games, but they sure are willing to make sure the games you play are the worst possible they could be. Let me see if I can even look at some of the comments here. The fact of the matter is the gaming industry as the last decade, pivoted to appease the vocal minority instead of creating art unapologetically. Most of the people that would be offended by these sorts of things being in the game probably never even going to play it. But simply whine on the internet. If it bothers you that much, stay away from it. Just like any other form of media or art, the poll above speaks for itself. Some of the reasons for this is misconception about their audience, accumulation of LGBTQ+ people in the creative arts, political agenda. All that together could lead to a perception in which all these subjects seem to look at a little different than you or I see it. I think it will balance itself over time. We already see the shift towards a more balanced approach regarding these things. Yeah, and the indie scene maybe. I think in 5 to 10 years, the overuse of games for political views or sex and gender subjects will be gone and only implemented if it really makes sense for the narrative. Buddy, you are on some hopium that I hope is true. I hope it is. I just don't think it will be. I find it totally okay to approach younger audience with careful steps. It's a mature game. There is no younger audience. But I think now the industry has learned its lesson, and somehow we can go back to just having fun in games instead of using them as a social analysis. That's not going to happen. And secondly, games have always been a social analysis. The only difference is that for some reason games have taken a more postmodernist garbage approach, whereas the old games were, they were classic dilemmas, the hero's journey. But unfortunately, games today has to have modern politics shoved into it. Things like Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is, do I need to say more? Or just the overabundance in movie games, where people are more interested in watching a movie than actually playing a video game. These are things that I don't think are going to change. I think most AAA studios are going to die, and it is right now a indie game and AA market. But that is the end of this video. Comment down below what you believe. Are you excited for the God of War Trilogy remake? When I initially saw it, I was pretty hyped. But as I've, gotten down from that high, I do believe the game is probably going to have things in it that are going to ruin it. For me, I think they're going to put things in it that are only in there for the 5 people that will write an article over it. But that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. Like and comment down below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye now.